starting this podcast on the fly today because there was a bus behind me. Where I usually park to drop the kids off, there's a bus. Anyway, welcome to the Off Base Podcast, the podcast that is carefully crafted to remind you to suck on a fat one if you think that you're the only one, because you are not. I am your host. I am the Rocky Mountain no-name Jackass. And it is 5, count them, 5 fucking degrees in the city of Aurora at 8:07 in the a.m. on Thursday, March 10th, 2022. You know what? The date just reminded me of something. I didn't do a podcast yesterday. I don't know. For some reason, I didn't want to. And I saw that there was somebody who posted a compilation of Bill Burr advice from 2020 all the way through 2022. So I just wanted to listen to that a little bit. But yesterday was a landmark day in financial history. On March 9th, 2009, is when the stock market bottomed. And from that day forward, we went from a low of 666 on the S&P 500 to up over 4,000 where we are today. We're about 4,200, topped out at 4,800 at the beginning of the year. But it's quite a magnificent run, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a 13-year bull market. We are clearly in a bear market right now. And we'll see how long this one lasts and how far down it goes. But, yeah, so let me get the chaw going. And then we'll continue this thing. There we go. Get the spit going. How's it going, everybody? Here we are on a Thursday. My favorite day of the week, by the way. One day closer to Friday. I forget who used to say that. I loved when they said that. My favorite day of the week is one day closer to Friday. Anyway, I think it was on Monday's podcast, Monday or Tuesday, where I was bitching about the weather. I might bitch again. Sorry. I just hate it. I hate this weather. I really do. I love the fact that we're living on base. We've never lived on base before. I love the fact that my wife is at this stage in her career, but we both hate this fucking weather. Here's the good part. And I mentioned it on Monday and I think Tuesday. But tomorrow, after school, we pick up the kids and off to Keystone for a nice spring break ski vacation. A lot of things I got to do before then. I'm going to start the packing process today. And this time around, we will not be eating out, as if that was President's Day weekend. We were there for 3 days. We ate out the whole time, and it was like well over like $1,500. It was just ridiculous. That was a lot of money just to eat, because you go up in the mountains to ski. Food is not readily available there. It all has to be shipped in. And with our current inflation rate being as high as it is, highest in, I think, 40 years, it's like, well, what the fuck, man? They are going to first ask if you would bend over, and then if you don't, they will bend you over and fuck you right in the asshole as far as food prices go. So when we went up to Vail for Christmas, what were we there, 5 days or 6 days, something like that? We brought a ton of food. And if we had eaten in Vail for 6 days, eaten out for 6 days, Jesus Christ, I can't imagine what that bill would look like. And this time around, I told my wife, I was like, look, man, I am fine with cooking when we get home from skiing. Because she was worried she didn't want me to cook the whole time. I'm like, dude, that's one of the best ways for me to unwind. I get a drink going, start making the din. It's fucking phenomenal. And she also, is liking the fact that once we get back from skiing, just sitting down with a drink and unwinding and just chilling out in the room. We have plenty of activity that we're doing during the day. Why not just chill in the room? So I'm actually making chili today, but I'm making like 1.5 times as much so that we can actually we'll take leftover chili with us. And I'm going to do a pasta one night. I'm going to do a Disney pasta. It's called Disney pasta because I got it out of a Disney cookbook. It's really, really good. It's you can either do it with chicken thighs or with shrimp. And it's a penne pasta. It's just with the Parmesan cream sauce, but it starts out with a prosciutto and garlic base, and then you finish it with basil and raw chopped tomatoes. It's really good, really good. So yeah, chili one night. What did I just say? Disney pasta another night. We'll do Lou Malnati's pizza that we'll bring from home on another night. Definitely do steak and potatoes on the 4th night, and then I think that's all we got. Might be 4 or 5. Oh yeah, on the 5th night it's just any leftover sandwiches we got. So during the day for lunch, I'm gonna go to the store probably tomorrow and just get a bunch of lunch meat and shit. You know what I mean? Maybe today I'll go get it. We'll see. And breakfast will just be bagels and eggs and whatnot. But I will be sticking to keto. I've been crushing it on keto, and I have been eating almost. I started to track myself this past week. Close to 200 grams of protein per day, which is great. Now, from what I've been watching a guy by the name of Paul Ravella on YouTube a lot. I forget the name of his channel, but he was a competitive bodybuilder and is a coach right now, natural bodybuilder. Doesn't use any supplements or steroids or anything like that. And he gets questions all the time, and he responds to his questions with usually a YouTube video, like a 5 to 10 minute YouTube video. And he says all the time that the amount of protein that you should eat in grams should be your desired body weight. I don't desire to weigh 200 pounds. At some point here, after stepson and I finish phase 3 in the beginning of May, is when I will be cutting, trying to burn the fat off and get down to roughly 175, 170. I was 165 in high school, but 170, 175 will be a perfect weight for me to maintain at my age. So his suggestion then would be for me to be eating 170 grams of protein per day. But I'm up at 200 right now because stepson and I are still in the muscle building phase, and we had a great workout on Monday, and I maxed out on a lot of my exercises, but I was only sore for Tuesday. Yesterday I felt fucking fantastic, and today I feel even better, ready to go back to the gym and to do our pull workout, P-U-L-L, back, shoulders, biceps. So I'm rather excited to go through that. But anyway, yeah, I'm probably averaging somewhere around 2,300 calories a day with approximately 800 of them coming from proteins. Maybe another 100 coming from carbs, and then the rest is all fats coming from the ketogenic diet. So I have been extraordinarily happy with my diet. Sleep is still coming along. We went to bed, 9 o'clock last night? I got up at, was it like 3:30 today? So I got about 6 hours of sleep. I feel fine. It'd be nice if I could get that full 8 hours. But you know what? When I was heavily working out in the late 2000s, and I was doing P90X, followed by, I think I did 2 rounds of P90X, then 2 rounds of Insanity, and then I did the Asylum. I was sleeping roughly the same amount. And I remember Sean T at the time, before we had so much information about sleep, Sean T would say, hey, some people need 8 hours, some people need 9, some people need 6.5. And if you're operating perfectly fine on that, then go for it. And I was getting roughly 7.5 back then. So I don't know. Maybe that's all I need. I'll bet you once I get into phase 4, this makes sense to me. I bet you once I get into phase 4 and I start becoming more active, and that's the way that I'm planning on doing it, is by doing a lot of walking. Not leisurely strolls, active walking on treadmills for about a half hour at a time, maybe an hour, 45 minutes at a time. Using the incline to make sure that my heart rate is going up. Steady state cardio, baby. But I'm going to put a wager on the fact that if I do start becoming more active during the day, that I am going to need more recovery at night. I bet you I'll be sleeping more. I'll bet you. Oh, that's just my backup camera. It's all covered with snow. It's fucking weather. Yeah, because right now, really, I'm not doing that much walking at all. We go to the gym Monday, Thursday, Saturday. The rest of the day I'm at home working. And then I'm in the car for 2 hours a day. Well, more like 2.5 to 3 with this weather. It's extended driving times. So the amount of activity that I am giving my body is nowhere near where it should be if I'm going to be in a cutting phase. If I wasn't lifting at all, I should definitely be more active. But because stepson and I are lifting, my body is getting a workout. And yeah. So yeah, that's a great little phrase that the kids have all used as they've been going through their late single digits, like from ages 7, 8, and 9. It started with my stepdaughter. She used to do it all the time. So yeah, if they can't think of what they want to say. So yeah. Anyway, let me get a little sip of coffee here. Plus, I gotta pee. I'm not gonna do it now. But once I get home, I gotta go potty. So here we are, man. Middle of March, approaching the Ides. Vacation coming up. Work's going very well for me. Workouts are going well. Diet's going great. Sleep could be improved. Relationships. Me and my lady, we're continuing to progress forward. We had a little issue that we were talking about last night, but I think we settled it fairly, because she was in a good mood this morning, and that's what matters, right? Happy wife, happy life. I watched a phenomenal video that somebody put out that was comparing Michael Jordan to LeBron James. And I've talked about this a couple times in the past on this podcast, but for me, there's no comparison, man. When I watch LeBron James play, yeah, he's one of the greatest physical specimens to ever step on the court, but there's no way that he can control a game like Jordan did. And there's no way that he has the drive that Michael Jordan did. I remember, and I talked about this before, when he was in Miami and they were playing San Antonio for one of the championships. It was like, I don't know, maybe 2005 or 6, something like that. Is when I first started getting back into watching basketball. And I love watching the Spurs. And we lived in San Antonio, so it was like, yeah, now you're a natural Spurs fan. Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and an early Kawhi. And it got down to the wire where the Heat were down and they had the last shot of the game. They got the ball in LeBron's hands and he didn't take the shot. He tried to pass it away and he turned the ball over. I was like, what the fuck? Because, I'd heard about LeBron plenty. And then to actually see him in action where he had the chance to be the clutch player, I was like, what the this guy's no Jordan. That was my immediate thought. This guy's no Jordan. Jordan was taking those opportunities like when he was in his first and second years to will his team to victory. I'm taking the last shot, motherfucker, right? Here's LeBron passing it off. I was like, what the hell? And defensively, I think he stinks. He doesn't stink, he's just average, but he's lazy. He's lazy on defense. And, well, it's just in general, this comparison that this guy did, it was like a 25-minute long video. He really put his thought into it. I don't want to rehash the entire thing, but he had 5 different categories for measuring who's the greatest basketball player of all time, because he didn't just want to go by statistics like the normal statistics that we'll look at, which is, points per game, assists per game, rebounds per game, blah blah blah. As far as the winning goes, Jordan, six championships in 6 attempts. LeBron 3 championships in 9 attempts. It's like, yeah, who's fucking better? And Jordan's were 3-peats. And the fact that the league has changed so much right now where you can't even hand check when you're on defense, it's like, what the fuck? Nobody's guarding you. You should be averaging 50 if you're the greatest player of all time. If you're self-proclaimed greatest of all time. Fuck that. Fuck you. And you know what? This dude, when he did his video, he started out with a quote. I thought it was a fantastic quote. He said, when you're good at something, you tell everybody. When you're great at something, people tell you. I love that quote. So anyway, it just got me back to, after watching that, just got me back to thinking more about the cards that I've been collecting. Because I got back into the hobby in July of last year. And I'm trying to build up a very specific type of collection. And I had made a purchase a couple days ago. I got the 1992-93 Upper Deck. It's actually the last set that I need in order to complete my first running of the Chicago Bulls. They won the championship in 91, 92, and 93. And I have all of the Fleer brand of that, and I have the Topps brand, although Topps didn't put one out for the 91 championship. And for Upper Deck, I've got the 91 championship and the 93 championship. But I don't have the 92, so I just ordered a box of those. And I'm excited to complete the collection. It's funny that the 92s, though, actually cost more than the 91s and the 93s, regardless of what brand you choose, whether it's Fleer, Topps, Upper Deck, or whatever. You could even go Hoops or Skybox. But the reason why the 92s and 93s cost more is because that's Shaquille O'Neal's rookie year. So a Shaq rookie is a nice card to have. Once I finish the first 3-peat and I go to start going after the second 3-peat, which won't be for a while, because there's a bunch of little things in between that I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get the NBA champions from 86 to 90 before the 90s. 90s basketball is really my focus, but prior to that, the 86 to 90, and the reason why I started 86 and go to 90 is because 86 is when Fleer came out with that inaugural edition. Like, Topps was making basketball cards, but they stopped in 81 with Magic and Bird's second year. And then Fleer was like, hey, basketball is soaring in popularity right now with Michael Jordan. Let's turn out some cards. So 86, 87 was the first year in 5 that any of the major producers put out a set of cards. So 86, 87, that was the year the Celtics won. 87, 88, and 88, 89 was the year the Lakers won. They repeated. And then the Pistons repeated in 89 and 90. And then the Bulls three-peated 91, 92, 93. The Rockets then they repeated in 94, 95. The Bulls three-peated 96, 97, 98. And I think it was the Spurs repeated in 99 and 2000. They either repeated or they just had one, and then the Kobe Shaq Lakers did their three-peat. It's pretty amazing how the NBA champions have gone in that 15-year period. You either repeated or you three-peated. It's pretty impressive. So that's probably like one of the biggest reasons why I'm trying to collect all of those years, is because it's pretty cool to put those cards together. So I have one set of the 88-89 Laker win, and I got a couple of Magics though. The Kareem card is cool. I like the Kareem card. It looks cool. But then I'm going to start going after the 86 Celtics and then the 87 Lakers as well. I actually have the Pistons repeat. I've got all of those. Those are cool. That was such a great team back then, man. I love watching the Pistons. Dennis Rodman was one of the guys who I modeled my game after, because he was not a shooter. I was not a shooter. I was a point guard. I wasn't a forward, but I always loved guarding the best player on the other team. Loved getting physical with people, breaking them down mentally. Unfortunately, we didn't win a state championship when I was a junior or a senior. We did when I was a sophomore, and the guy who took us there was a guy by the name of Kyle Horton. Kyle was a year older than me, and he and I played baseball growing up. He was a year older than me, so he was a junior when I was a sophomore. So he won the state championship when he was a junior, and everybody was like, "Well, we're going to repeat because Kyle's a senior now." And unfortunately, we didn't win it when I was a junior. We didn't repeat, and then we had nowhere near the talent when I was a senior. So it's just kind of going through the motions there, senior year. But it's interesting, my sophomore year when the boys did win the state title, the girls won state title too. It's one of the few instances that you'll ever find where the boys and girls for the same school won state championships in basketball in the same year. And my twin cousins were on that team, Denise and Danielle Baginski. And they had a great team. They had two girls that were both over 6 feet tall that just were absolutely dominant. And my cousin Denise is an excellent basketball player. She ended up playing in college. My cousin Danielle is just incredibly fit and also a solid athlete, but she wasn't as good a basketball player as my cousin Denise. Anyway, here we are back on base. A lot of sports talk today, man. You know? I was all over the place. I gave you a little stock market history. Then, of course, did my daily recap of what's going on and what's coming up. And then we went right into sports. How about that? What a diverse podcast. Not as hungry as I usually am this morning, but I will still have my normal breakfast, which is going to be a cup of keto coffee and about 4 eggs and half of an avocado. I've been throwing an avocado in there to get more healthy fats into my diet. And then after I finish that, I'll get a refill on keto coffee. Still got some hard-boiled eggs in the fridge. I'll probably have like an egg and tuna salad a little bit later. And then my infamous chicken cabbage soup. Fucking love that stuff. It's the best. The best, Jerry. The best. Who said that? There's a quote for you. Not a movie quote, TV quote. That's right. Kenny Banyan from Seinfeld. All right, I'm next to get scanned. What's the word, brother?
Good to go.
Thank you. Getting scanned right now just for some reason made me think of our neighbor who is in charge of missile detection for the entire world. And he's just a solid dude, man. Since the Russia thing started here, Russia invading Ukraine, he's been having some serious hours that he's been working. And it's kind of like that this is what we train for thing, you know. They have been on high alert. And I don't know, he's like 16-hour days. He's doing his duty, man. Doing his duty. So I can't wait to cook for he and his wife again. Anyway, here we are, back on base. I don't think I'm going to be able to see Denver in the foreground today. It's a little bit hazy. You can barely see the mountains. But, you know what? It's as shitty as this weather is and as cold as the temperature is, we're going to have a good Thursday. Making chili tonight. I've been doing it every other Thursday here in the winter. Because, you know, it's chilly out. So we got to have some chili. And it's one of the few dishes that I'll make that almost the entire family eats. Normally, like last night. Last night was funny. So my son, I made a baked potato for him. My wife and I made a cauliflower pizza for us. My stepdaughter, she had a burger. And then my stepson, he made his own ramen. He had two packages of ramen. So we had 4 different dinners. Now, they're all pretty much easy to make. So I don't mind, but I'd much prefer to only make one meal. And the chili works on that. My stepdaughter doesn't really eat chili. But hey, you know what? We'll finish on that particular note. Not everybody's the same, right? So be kind and rewind. Talk to you tomorrow.